Hi everyone, it's Alan Stockdale back again for another edition of, well, our weekly talks with Debbie Anderson. So, how you been, Debbie?
Great. I've been
Great,
good.
another
You?
good
How
week.
about you?
Yep. Oh yeah, I've
Good.
had I've had
Good.
some events happening this week. What we we're going to talk about, aren't we? Because I think it's
Yep.
important that people know how to deal with these attacks, let's say, by entities what are interfering in our, well, in my case, in because I was going to do an event online, and then all of a sudden, anyway, I'll get into that in a second.
Sure.
Yeah, so basically, what we're going to talk about this week is entities, not so much like on about sort of possession type of things, but the way they interfere in your lives and how easy it is to stop it, basically. So it's an empowering video. So anyone that's listening to this thinks they might, be getting influence, or they might be getting interference when they're trying to sleep or everyday life. You need to
Attacked.
realise that we are the one of the most powerful beings that's ever been created. Basically, we just don't know it, most of us, and we've been cut off from these powers of creation. And these beings know this. So all you need to do is basically know your power, believe in that power, and tell them to fuck off. It's as simple as
Yeah.
that, but do it
Pretty
do it
much.
all
Yeah.
different ways of doing it. But that's
Yeah.
basically what you need to do,
Right.
because these beings know that once you know you've got the power, they're powerless. It's
Yeah.
when you give them the power, when you give them your fear, that's when they feed off that, and that's when they influence you more and more. So you've got to take a step back and just look at it for what it is. The little irritating parasites, what's nibbling at your ankles, but you're imagining they're a massive lion when they're not. They're just a
Right.
little insect. So once you get that in your head and take some steps, what we're going to talk about, then they'll go. So,
Right.
right. So with that
Which is an
said,
example of exactly what happened to you. And of
yeah,
course, they choose times when people are vulnerable, like when they're sleeping
yep,
or when they're drinking or, other substances and
stressed out,
stressed
maybe,
and
yep.
gambling places. Anyways, tell them what you were supposed to do. Have an event and have
Yes,
a meditation event the other
I
day,
was.
yesterday,
Yes.
and what happened? Because I
Well,
was
well,
like, well,
basically,
what happened? Yeah.
I'd organised this event in a group on Facebook, and it was for a guided meditation to go through the source healing, what I do, and basically to heal anyone who was doing it with me, or get them to heal other people while we was doing the meditation, and teaching people how to do it so that we can spread the word, basically. So I thinking to myself, wow, this is a really positive thing to do. And obviously, the negative influences, entities, whatever you want to call them, obviously thought the same thing. Because the night before I was supposed to do it, I was going to do it at 8:30 my time, which is UK time. Most of the people on the call would have been mid-afternoon in America.
Right. Three
So
thirty, I
the
think.
night
Yeah.
before, I went to sleep. I put my protection on myself like I always do. Um, but sort of about halfway through the night, my dog started playing up, started getting on and off the bed because he sleeps. He sleeps on the bed with us. Anyone
Right.
who's got a staffy knows that
Yeah. I
they
have
sleep
one.
on your bed. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and they haven't got a choice in the
Yeah.
matter. They just sleep on the bed. So anyway, so he jumps off the bed and he starts walking around in the bedroom and wanting to go outside. Now, to be fair, it's very rare he does this. But so when he does, I take notice and I take him out because normally he's a good boy. He'll just lay on the bed all night and sleep. So I goes downstairs, takes him out, came back, thinking to myself, right, it's 4:30, get straight back to sleep, be fine. No, every time I started to just drop off, the dog was twitching again, making a noise, coughing, believe it or not, sneezing, moving around. And I could actually hear Prince, my dog, trying to get to sleep. Yeah, I know what he sounds like when he's getting himself settled, but
Yeah.
something was making him agitated. Now,
Yeah.
because I was half asleep but not sleeping, didn't really register in my head what it was. And then, I don't know if my higher self just said, hello, hello, it's an entity. I suddenly realised, I thought, oh, the little buggers. Thinking
Yeah.
what I was going to do the next day, thinking, right, they're trying to do this to keep me awake and to tire me out. And by then, it was a good probably 2 or 3 hours on and off, not sleeping properly.
Right.
So that's basically come to the next day, I tried my best in the day to keep. I know I was all right to start with in the morning, Debbie, but as the day went
Right.
on, got to about 5 o'clock my time, I thought to myself, I'm feeling absolutely drained. And I wanted to
Oh,
give it all on this meditation because I know how powerful it is. I didn't want to do it feeling drained, not being
right. Of
100%,
course.
not centered proper. So I cancelled it. So I actually gave the entities, I suppose, what they wanted. But going back to
Yeah.
that night, once I
Yeah.
realised that it was entities what were actually affecting my dog, not me, I actually put some protection around him.
Right.
And virtually, as soon as I did that, boom, it was the morning. We woke up, I'd fell straight asleep, the dog fell
Right.
asleep. So shall we just go through exactly what I did, what
Right.
I personally did?
Yeah, because people want, I mean, you can say, well, you do protection or you put shields up or whatever, but a lot of people don't. They need to know what exactly it is.
Right. Well, what I do every night on myself, and basically in the bedroom, is I take in some deep breaths, not necessarily like I do in a meditation, just like that, and I just imagine that source energy just glowing out of my heart, just like I do in my healing, and then I expand that into a huge pyramid over my house. And I make sure the bottom of the pyramid's underneath the house and all the sides encompasses the entire house. In fact, it encompasses the next door neighbour as well, which is a benefit to him, what he doesn't know
Yeah.
about. So I do that, and then I do the same thing, but in the bedroom. So I put one over our bed where I share my wife and the dog, right? And I put it in that onto that. Now, my intentions when I'm doing this is to protect me and my wife, not necessarily Prince, the dog. You know what I mean? Because I didn't think he'd be susceptible to any attacks. Ha, yeah,
No,
obviously I was.
they are.
So there you go. So once I'd realised that, I put the protection on us again with Prince in mind, my dog, and boom, it stopped him straight away. Now, so basically, it's all about, in my opinion. I mean, it doesn't have to be a pyramid. It can be a bubble. It can be
Could be a
anything you want.
bubble.
It's
Yeah,
just the
could be.
intention. It's the
Yep.
intention behind it and the knowledge
Right.
that you have got the power via. Because basically, we've all made of source energy. It's you can make it the most powerful thing you want it to be because it's basically the thing in the universe everything's made of. So if you put that loving intention of protection and you believe in it, boom, these entities have no power whatsoever. So that's all I do. And
Right.
that has progressed though, Debbie. I mean, I do that now, sort of glowing from my heart centre, making this big pyramid. But
Right.
before, I used to just imagine a big bubble, and I just used to put the intention
Right.
that was protecting me, and that
Which
worked
is
very
good.
well.
Right.
So it's
I do
just-
a pyramid too.
yeah,
I've been doing pyramids for a very long
and
time.
it's instinctive, isn't it? Why do I mean? I don't know why I picked the pyramid, but I
Just
just
because
did.
it's powerful.
It must be, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we both meditate underneath our pyramids, don't we? We know that a certain angled pyramid
Right.
has more power to magnify
Yeah.
things. So maybe that's where it came from. I don't know. Yes.
The thing is you came out of your protection.
it broke it.
There's
Yeah.
two things. So it's Prince. He was included in the pyramid around your house, but he didn't have his own pyramid. I mean, when
No.
I do it, I do the same thing that you do with the whole house and the cars and the backyard and everything.
Yeah.
And but I also put protection around each person in the house and my animals
Yeah.
and bird. Yeah.
That's
I
what-
do.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's the difference. I mean, yeah, I've always put the protection around me and Jill.
Yeah.
I just assumed that Henry. I just assumed that Prince was because it was inside the pyramid. He'd
Yeah.
be protected with it, but it's not a personal thing. So yeah, it was a little sneak attack. But I've learned from it now. So just like you say, you put it on all your animals with intention, then they can't
Yes.
touch them as well. So
The intention is like the most important, really. You don't have to visualize it in your head. You don't have to picture it in your head. It's just saying those
Yeah.
words, like the
Yeah.
intention of putting source, the highest frequency of source energy around it, or whatever you choose to do, a bubble, pyramid,
Yeah.
whatever, around your
But
house. Or
Do you, when you do that though, David? I mean, I actually say I don't want no interference of no entity what's not got my best interests at heart. So therefore, what I'm
Yeah,
saying is, if I, while I'm dreaming, if someone wants to communicate higher self, whatever, that's fine, but
I
just
say
not
something
negative.
similar.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
important for
like
people to.
purest, highest, for my highest good, for the highest good of all
Yeah,
who
yeah,
are, in the house, for each individual. Yeah, that
yeah,
nothing can filter into this on any realities, any dimensions, any levels. Yeah.
yeah.
You can
Sounds
say
good.
whatever as long as it's, clear what it is that you want. And it really would, it does work. I mean, obviously it
Yeah,
showed you that there. I mean, there, I think I've told you this. I wasn't, when I do the hypnosis, which you also do hypnosis, but when I do the entity removals and the attachments and so on with people, I've experienced in more than one occasion where just technology stops working.
yeah,
I mean, and it was clearly because I think I might have mentioned this. I don't even know if I mentioned it on a discussion, but
yeah, yeah,
someone had a brand new laptop, a couple months old, brand new. Nothing was wrong with it. Got on with me. There was no picture. Then there was no voice. Like there was no. So then we ended up having to work around all of that. You had to use your phone and all kinds of. It was crazy. And she goes, I don't understand this. This doesn't even make sense. This is new. Okay. As soon as we finished, we did it anyway.
yeah,
As soon as we finished the session, she texted me and said the computer's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
yeah.
So they do interfere,
Absolutely.
whether or not, people are like, oh, that's crazy. They don't do. Yes, they do. I've had it experienced more than once where my computer would, I might have happened with you,
It
where
did.
we
Yeah.
couldn't, when we were doing specifically entity and attachment removal.
Mm.
And I don't think I couldn't hear you. And it was this little contraption right here. Never touch it. This headset sits in a place. Don't touch. So all of a sudden, these things are shut off.
Yeah.
So I think I haven't had that experience as much now, and I think it's because it's kind of like you're more powerful, and the intention is very, very clear.
It is. And I think the more powerful you get in your belief in yourself, in what, like sort of with manifesting, like we both experienced. So that's something else I want to touch on today as well. The story about the manifesting I was going to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway,
I just want to point out that while you're talking, your voice right now is going sort of up and like quieter and louder and then quieter. It's very sort of subtle, but it's
Tell you what, just you keep talking. I'm just going to check
it's very
check my levels.
I noticed it like maybe 3 times now, and I'm like, maybe you turned the volume up or something. And because I have these on, and these are very precise, like you can hear really, really well without any outside interference. And I noticed your voice was lower, and then it would go louder, and then quieter. And just a few times, maybe 3 times.
Well, I've just checked the audio settings.
Okay.
I have changed them since last time we spoke, because I was going to do that live recording of music in the background. I had it on so it would pick up noises in the background. Now I've turned that off. So you just let me know if it carries on happening, or was it just the fact that the setting?
Yeah, you changed the setting. I'm just I mean, honestly, these entities, they're just because we just can't see them, and they might be also attached to our energetic body, like our fields, like whatever fields that are around us. So they're not necessarily obvious to people.
No.
Yeah. So tell me before, what were you going to say about
the manifesting? Yeah. Well, we went spoke have we for just over a week. And when I've been outside doing my meditating, I've been trying to make the most of the last of the sun in England in the morning. It's not warm, but I'm still out there in the sun meditating. And I was connecting, and I started doing a lot of, once I've done my healing part of me meditations, because I'm sending healing out to certain people what need it. But after I've done that, I find myself in a really sort of Zen like state when I'm in my meditation, really
Right.
mega relaxed. And I've started connecting to, I started like visualizing myself melding into source, like I talked about on the last recording. And what I've started to do is I can feel myself melding into the reality around me. So I'm testing it by see if I can create different things in the reality that we're experiencing. So the other day, so I was laid there and I thought, right, because of what you said about the scene, when you said the Matrix stops and there was a bird, never seen this bird before, I thought I'll try.
And the cat. And the cat.
Yeah.
My cat was like, okay, and then it just sort of started again. I'm like,
yeah. So I thought to myself, let's just see if I can actually manifest a bird, right? Because obviously I'm laid outside. You see birds in the sky, obviously.
Yeah.
I put this on I've sent out a few tweaks and that and one thing and another. And I said that. But so I'm laid there. When I open my eyes, I was saying that the sky is going to be clear above my head because there was quite a few a certain trail, I'll not say the other word because we get banned, in the sky. They're going to be gone and I'm going to see a bird. So I said a bird. So I opened my eyes. Wow, did I get a shock? Not only was it crystal blue everywhere on my sort of above me, not everywhere in the entire horizon, but where I was gone crystal blue. And there was a huge flock of birds and they were circling about 200 feet in the air. There must have been 100 of them. And I saw them, I thought, oh, wow. And I just felt my higher self is saying, look, just basically telling me that you can create whatever you want. You are source. We're all source. We're all part of this consciousness. You just need to tap into that to create it. But also I got the message again, which I've had before, and it's like, be very mindful of what you think about, what you
especially repetitively.
Because you're more powerful you get. The more you need to watch what you're trying to concentrate on. So I came into the house and my stepson.
That's so cool.
I know, I couldn't believe it. My stepson was in the conservatory. So I always give him an update. So I'm excitedly telling him what's happened. And this flock of birds came back. And I went, Henry, they're there. Look, and they're just lost everywhere. So that was.
I know we're always astounded by when things happen, but we do it all the time. We just don't. We aren't necessarily aware of it. It's like when you'll say, I'll literally say something and then I'll hear the same words on the radio in the car. The exact same words, like pickles or something unusual. Like you're like, it's like signs, right? And then when you ask specifically, because I explained that in the story last time about the birds, and I'm like, okay, there's one bird, okay, there's another bird, and then I think in the end there was like 4 of them or 2
there was
more
birds you've never seen before.
I've never seen those birds. I don't even know if I've still seen them again.
Exactly.
They weren't seagulls. They weren't blackbirds. I've never seen them.
But you see, the difference between what you said and what I think is that you thought you were seeing like a glitch in like a sort of matrix sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just manifesting. You're manifesting.
Well, in that case, I did say, I saw this bird, and then I saw another one behind it. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, let's just let's make let's see.
I'm just going to take a call, Debbie. 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm just doing a live recording, Jill, so you're on YouTube right now.
Hi, Jill.
I did do, I sent you a message. If you're ready, you'll know exactly what's what. All right, bye. Aha, Jill, if you're watching this again, that was you on the phone.
Hi, Jill.
I see, my wife will ignore all phone calls from me when she's at work. I'll even take it live on a recording.
Oh, women, eh?
Yeah.
We're just dreadful. Yeah. Well, that's just the way it is. Okay. I'm just telling you. Well, in that case, I told you I was outside and I was in the garden and I looked up and I saw those birds and I said, okay, well, if I've never seen that before, if it's, I can't remember what I said to you, whether can I make another one?
Yeah.
There it was, another one. And then there was another one. And then there was 2 more. After that.
Exactly. I mean, it's not a coincidence, is it? I mean, like I said, people might say, oh, well, there's birds in the sky. Yeah,
but I'd never seen them.
Exactly.
And you didn't see like all those, because you sent me a picture excuse me, with all those seagulls that looked like, going around and around. Like the other one was the one I was on the deck, and I looked at my cat. I looked at her, and then she was sitting there, and then it was like, it was stuck. It would be like this, and then starting, and then like, it was bizarre. Wow.
That's more like a glitch in the Matrix, isn't it? That's or maybe just sort of, I don't know. That's a. I'm not quite certain exactly what that one was, because that's different to seeing the birds, isn't it? Because that's like a pet.
Oh yeah, with totally different.
It's like it's like you've stepped out of time or something. I don't know.
It's like in that Matrix movie when they have that black cat, and he goes, "Oh, look at that, deja vu." That's what he called it. Yeah. The cat's name was Deja Vu in the latest one, right? Yeah. But it's like, okay.
Then I've had another manifestation after that one as well, right? So this one was, I think it was yesterday, this one.
Okay.
So same position, outside, getting the last bit of sun, doing the same thing again, doing some meditation, out some healing. This
voice
time,
going up. Your voice just went up.
All right, okay. So there's definitely some interference then, yeah. So what I did this time is it was blowing really strong wind. Now, where I meditate, there's lots of trees. So, it's like with the leaves blowing very loud. Yeah. So as I'm laid there, I took in a deep breath, and I imagined like a sort of a force field going out like that. And I was saying, be quiet, stop blowing. And the second I did it, literally, it went quiet. And I held it in my mind's eye, I held it like that. And I went, okay, go back to normal. It went, sort of blowing again. I did it three times. I did it. I was like, oh wow, this is getting amazing. It really is. And then I came in and I told Jill later, actually, that day. And we talked about a video. What I remember seeing a guy in a video years ago, and he was in a park. And he could do that in a park, but he could just do it not being in a meditation. He just somehow connected with the elements, and he could make it. And he did it live. You could see him doing it, all the trees blowing. Then he'd go, stop. But that was something where I used to watch thinking, wow, imagine that. And then I thought, wow, I've done that. Yeah, but in a meditative state. I've not tried doing it just, every day like now, let's say. But yeah, it seems to be when I get into this certain Zen, like, state when I'm meditating, I seem to be able to just like
how powerful that is. I mean, I've certainly experienced, and my daughter has seen this happen, where I'll say, we'll go in the store, I've told you this, and I'll say, whatever it is, like this is usually like secondhand stores, we like to do the thrifting, they call it. Anyway, we go in and I'll say I want a specific thing. It's like someone's taken and set it right there. And it's like odd things like she collects certain kinds of dolls, and they're very like expensive. And I found altogether this many of them in these stores for them.
Wow.
Like, yeah. Wow. Like so some of them are worth like, they could be worth like $1,000. Like, honestly. Yeah,
that's incredible, isn't it? Yeah,
like I mean, so it's
so do you think you're manifesting that before you even get to the shop? Because are you actually going out to look for these items, or is it just
in the circuit, like in the situations? I wasn't thinking at the time beforehand. It was just like almost like get out of the car and saying it in my head. Like find whatever it happens to be. If it's a specific doll, she'll look for like, a Monster High dolls or Bratz dolls or whatever it is. Always. I mean, and I'm not talking about, one circuit, there had to be these certain kind of Bratz dolls that they have these big lips and they're crazy little things. Anyway, they didn't make them, but again, they were all retired. We went into after I said that, we went into the store. There had to be like, I don't know, 8 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's manifesting power times 10.
That wasn't under any kind of meditation. So
yeah, so it just shows, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does just show you, So,
and did that sort of bring financial gain then? That one then, obviously, if they were worth some money.
Well, no, like the intention is never to have like, so what happens is she has like a little business where she might find particular specific dolls that people like, but they can't find them.
Right.
So then she'll fix them up, like, you know, make them look nice, change their clothes, because she has, and then she might resell them for, and make a couple of dollars, like nothing. Like it's really, and she'll say this, that it's just to, you know, for maybe a mom who can't afford to go out and spend the $130 on a specific big doll that so she'll sell it for, you know, like $40 or something after she fixes it all up. And sometimes like she'll make a new wig for it or whatever, right?
So what happens, and look at it from a different point of view then. So what happens if this person, let's say, who wants to buy one, can't afford it, puts it out to the universe, why I'd love to get one of these dolls, or I can't afford it. That goes out to the universe.
Right.
Your higher selves pick it up and then guide you to where one is.
It's a platform. Should go to do you have Marketplace in Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So that's where she'll post them so that people can find them.
Yeah.
And
you know
it's
what I mean?
always,
though? It's sort of like the universe working in a bigger picture to bring it all together. Whereas she wants it. You know, you're picking up where it is, and she's making it, and her in good intentions to sell it on at a price where people can afford, bring it all.
And it's always the parents. Like honestly, Karis will send. Like the people that come to her are the fathers or the mothers and say, "Oh, I'm getting this for my daughter. It's her birthday, or she's going to be so my granddaughter. I'm so excited." So it's a win-win sort of situation because you know they get what they really want, and it's not the ones that don't work are the ones that try and make a huge amount of money and you know, and
so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I can see how it's working from the bigger picture, can't you?
Right. Yeah.
Right,
it's
so
fun.
Back to what we were talking about before with the entities. I know we always get sidetracked, don't we?
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Well, there's other ways too. Like we were talking about that with the entities.
You said about the ways you use, because I just use the protection.
Well, I mean, there are protective crystals because there's a lot of people that like crystals. I'm looking at my table here. This one here is tourmaline. Yeah. And tourmaline is a very powerful crystal. You don't use any of these things. I mean, I love crystals. I think I was told I had been a crystal healer in other times. Yeah. You know, there's also shungite, you know, which I wear around my neck.
So do you put any intention with that, or just have them around the house?
Sometimes, like if I'm doing a session, then I would do that. Like I have other tourmaline too, but like I have like pyramids, Russian, you know, the Russians pyramids, and that like it has tourmaline and it has a tourmaline stone in it that I'll use when I do the healing sessions for entity removal. It's beside my bed. Right. So it's very protective. These crystals, I have tourmaline beside my bed. So like if I'm specifically doing that work that can have some, you know, some pretty negative entities, of course they aren't anymore. They aren't more powerful than we are. No. You know, they just pretend they are, have the illusion and try and scare people, but they aren't.
And some have actually convinced themselves that they are.
Oh yeah. Because they'll tell me, oh, I'm extremely powerful. They'll tell me to F off, whatever. There's other things that you can do, like in the energy in your house. Sage is one. You can burn sage if you can stand the smell of it. But people will burn sage, and that will, you know, remove the energy in the house. Palo Santo, which I love. You can burn that. Those kinds of things you can. If you're inside, to do that. I mean, honestly, what else is there? I'm just trying to think if there's other things that, I mean, the intention is really, as you mentioned, like you can always put the intentions into your crystals too. Yeah. You know, that they are, you know, I look upon them as my friends and, you know, have them here and there and all over the place. But like in my bedroom, right beside the bed on the table, I'll protect them at night because, you know, people, we, you know, they often put themselves in difficult situations. They'll go drinking and lower their their frequency, their vibrations. And so
Yep.
then also, you know, when you can also do the auric resealing and healing and
Yeah.
the realignment of the chakras, you know, because there can be a little crack and let's go in there.
Yeah.
And when you're out drinking, for example, or you're stressed or just having a divorce or a terrible time, something,
Yeah.
you know, some difficulties.
I mean, that's
And there's
the other thing
a
what the entities do as well, don't they? They interfere with other people to make arguments with you. I've noticed that, especially with past, where they instigate people in your family and they seem to start arguments over nothing. And then you get so embroiled in that, your frequency goes down because you're in such a negative state, everyone. And then, and that's another time when I.
And then the more negative, and it'll just bring more in
spiral, isn't it?
Yeah. More and more into it's true. You know, the thing is in almost most of the cases, not all of them, excuse me, it's probably, this always happens when we're talking about this stuff.
You need to sort
only this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. What was I saying? And they'll attack, like they'll try and interfere. I can't remember what I was basically going to tell you, but they don't know about it. That's it. The people just don't. They're not aware. Like, oh, hey, I got something hanging off of me here. Or I've got something from, you know, my childhood or whatever, and it jumped in me 30 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. Just don't know, do they? They're not aware. They don't. Yeah, and then they see. They get scared as well because of all the programming in movies like Exorcist and all the million and one films where you're seeing where there's a demon attaches to somebody, and in the films they're always mega powerful, aren't they? Everyone dies, so that's all in a psyche. And if you don't know what you're doing, what you're talking about, you get scared. Don't people?
And subliminally, you know, they would put stuff in,
of course,
where you might not. It might be, you know, with their background or words that they're saying or the songs that they're singing.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was out the other night, we were walking around and they had these big. We were at a fair. They had these big blankets, these fuzzy kind of blankets that have stuff on, you know, pictures on them. And when we walked right around the corner, there was a big, huge one that was I looked at it, I was trying to figure out, it was reds and blacks. And as I stood back, I saw that it was a full-fledged demon. Wow. Full-fledged horns, the whole thing. It was horrible. Wow. These people were coming up and taking pictures in front of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, they just, you know, they don't.
They don't realize. They don't know. Leaving into the powers, yeah.
No.
Right then, Debbie. Well, I think that's us 30 minutes usual talk. That went quick as always.
I think we pretty much covered. I mean, obviously, if you think that you have some attachments, you can always have sessions to remove those.
I mean, you are. Yes, you're very good at that. I'll definitely vouch for you on that one. Yeah.
Well, thank you. But you can also learn how to do this yourself.
Yeah,
you can.
That's the best way to do it. Yeah,
which is
you take away their power and it's acknowledge that in what you are and what they are. You put that protection on and give it the power. It's just like it's like the old cartoons where you've got a superhero with it. He's got all these superpowers. Well, that's us really.
That is really us.
We're going to start. I mean, if I can control the wind when I'm meditating,
that's so amazing.
Yeah. And really? I'm not talking about me farting to a I mean the wind, yeah. So
Alan.
And on that note, I think the podcast is
going
downwards quickly. All right, see you later.
Right. Bye-bye.